Okay, team, I want to talk a little bit more about why utility is important, and especially utility being used in conjunction with your team, because utility is less about the actual ability itself, what it does, how it's used, and more about the space that it creates and controls for your team. Every piece of utility has, a set amount of space that it controls. Flashes, their purpose is to force enemies to back off angles that it flashes. The goal of the flash isn't to get a kill. Well, that is helpful. It is to render the enemy unable to control a specific area, and whether that's rendering them unable so that they are forced to retreat, or rendering them unable so that your team is able to push them and kill them, doesn't matter. It's all about the space that you control. Smokes are about controlling the sight lines of the enemy, about controlling where they can look, where they can see, where your team can push in. Informational utility, like Sova and Cypher, that helps identify where enemies are, is letting you know information about where they are on the site, which is informing your control on the site. So let's say that we're taking B, right? If enemies are playing in relatively default positions, let's say right here and right here, the spots of the site that they're controlling are the areas that they can see. And if they have control over on A, then they know that they don't have to worry about their spawn, and so they're focused on controlling the entrance to site and not letting the enemies push in. And that, as your job, is to coordinate as a team to stop their ability to control those sites, to control those areas, and to find a way to push in and control it on your own. And that's where utility as kind of a team combination comes in. Because, at first we might do smokes to block off their sight lines. Next, any enemies that are playing in positions that we didn't smoke, might want to toss a flash in so that it forces them off or allows us to get a pick. Then we might want to use something like a movement ability like Jet's Dash to get onto site, right? That's helping us take space and control it. And then, for example, another ability that's great at controlling space, at the end, let's say they're playing retake and we want to use a Killjoy ult, and we have this circle around here, and this circle is how much space that you're controlling. And so, understanding based on your team composition and upon your goals of attacking and defending a site, it's really helpful to put together the ways that you can control a map. On defense, if you have a Cypher, for example, it can be really helpful to understand that he can offer long range control where other people might can't, because Killjoy's traps expire if you go across the map, etc. So if you have tripwires, watching this, then it's more okay for there to be a solo Cypher on site, because no matter whether he's watching here or here, he can have some sort of basic guarantee that enemies aren't coming in and controlling the space without at least some forward notice that the team can come and rotate. And so, as we'll go more into how your specific team compositions work together, we can go in more on better utility combinations. But on the backbone of it all, we really want to be thinking about, hey, how can we use our utility better together as a team to make sure that we're controlling the right space, we're controlling that space when we want to be controlling it, and we're using it to counter enemy utility and force them off of the important angles that, allow them to exert control over us.